What his advances to being a friend, and you just rejected them? You were not interested? You didn't like him? I mean, what was your side of that?
It's not like one of my old girlfriends. You know? When you say advances, I get a little scared.
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Hope you all are having a good day so far. So, I wanted to watch this video. I can't remember if it was suggested to me or not, but it's been sitting on my playlist for a little while here. This is from a channel called Pro Sport, and it's called NBA Legends comparing Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson. And Bird versus Magic is one of my favorite duos.
I think Bird and Magic.
Amateur. Sorry, I accidentally started the video. No, I mean, especially after reacting to that LeBron video, like this is nice and refreshing to actually talk about a couple of players that I really, really enjoy. My only regret was I was not born earlier, so I didn't get to see like their entire career. I more so got to see the second half of their career. But anyways, the two guys who basically saved basketball, saved the NBA, and then ended up being like best buddies. I love this story. And as far as comparing them, I'll make it quick. I always thought Larry Bird was the better individual player. However, Magic, he's got the rings, man. You know, but I always felt like Magic had a better team, like individual wise. But what Bird was able to do with those Celtics always blows my mind, man. So, how do I really feel comparing them? I can't really say one's better than the other. I really can't, and that's what's so cool about it. So anyways, you guys, I'm gonna let's get the show on the road. I'm gonna link the original video down below in the description like I always do. You'll see a list of channel members down there. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate you all. I'm not gonna keep saying without further ado because you guys make fun of me now. So let's just go. Like the video, hype the video. I'd appreciate it, and let's rock.
I think Bird and Magic saved the league.
Without further ado.
Because they wanted to beat each other so bad.
I just hate anybody in green.
I work tirelessly every day, practicing for one reason, try to beat them damn Lakers.
Yeah.
So I said, let me see what he can
Your
do.
side of that.
It's not like one of my old girlfriends. You know?
Magic Johnson and Larry Bird are the two most important figures in NBA history.
I agree.
Agreed. And for everyone who's obviously saying Jordan, I mean, I'm with you, man. However, what would the NBA have looked like for Jordan in '84 if it wasn't for Magic and Bird before them? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if it would have. I don't know if anybody would have given a damn.
Another jumper, and it at the buzzer. Larry Bird scores this year's MVP, Magic Johnson.
I think Bird and Magic saved the league, and I think the league took off when the Detroit Pistons showed up on the scene. Mm-hmm. I think what the NBA was coming out of in the 70s and how the United States was for black men in the 70s, and then Bird and Magic being on the stage in the early 80s, coming out of college and then, playing that game again. Magic coming to LA, Bird going to Boston. They walked into culture. They walked into a foundation. They walked into a way of being. They walked into winning.
True.
And those two.
True. It would have been different if they went to a couple of teams that didn't have a history of winning. Like, I don't know, like the Denver Nuggets and at that point, maybe the Utah Jazz or something like that. It could have ended up being different, huh? But they went to the two most hyped teams in the entire league on opposite ends in different conferences. Like, it was just too perfect.
Guys, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird saved the NBA, really saved the NBA from really going under, because at that particular point, it was only maybe 4 teams that were making money.
Yeah.
Out of at that time, I think they might have been 22 or 24 teams in the league. And these two guys came along and they just kind of saved the NBA. So, all these guys out here that's making all this money, they owe Magic and Larry Bird a lot of kudos.
Yeah. And to those who don't understand it, like, because you can't, it's probably hard to fathom nowadays compared to how it was then. But he basically nailed it right there. We're talking, when we say save the league, we mean financially. The NBA might not have been around for very much longer if it wasn't for them coming in and getting those, selling those tickets, everybody tuning in to watch these games at home. So the ad revenue's coming in, buying the jerseys and buying the merch, like if that all didn't start happening, yeah, it might have died. Just like any other professional league we see. Like how many American football leagues have we seen come and go over the last 20 years? It's really hard to break through.
Versus Irvin Magic Johnson. It didn't start in the NBA, y'all. It started in college when Magic was at Michigan State with Kelser and the boys, okay? And Larry Bird, the hit from French Lick, was at Indiana State, averaging over 30 a game and doing great things that he was doing, all right? And then they come to the pros. And they come to the pros and they rekindle that rivalry. Not immediately, because the Philadelphia 76ers was in the way. That's why I got Bird and Dr. J at number 5 in the early 80s. But in
they didn't get to do it in the finals out of the first year, but that first MVP race, that was definitely a 1v1.
And the 80s was dominated by this, and the stage was set coming into the 80s.
Can I just point something out? This is not a rivalry. Why? In what world is this a rivalry? Who would ever consider dude, this guy won 3, this guy won 1. In what world is that a rivalry?
The 80s was dominated by this, and the stage was set coming into the 80s. I got Bird Magic, I got Jordan Isaiah, I got Russell Wilt, I got LeBron Steph, I got Bird and Dr. J. Julius Irvin. Box office NBA matchup in history. Floor shot.
I'd like to end all that. Here's Magic Johnson. Right at the 24 minutes remaining in the third period. The tip controlled by the Celtics. Here's Bird going for 3. And
what a sound.
Has it. So Larry Bird and Scott Dennis Johnson with Cooper all over him. He can't do a thing. Bird turnaround hits with 16 seconds to go.
I'm just going to pause right there real quick just to hopefully avoid copyright.
And the Lakers call their last, although they have one more, they call a timeout. And the Boston Celtics have even this NBA World Championship Series at 2 games apiece.
When I first met him, I said, all right, I'm going to see this dude, this white cat can really go like he's saying,
because the verdict is always out on white boys that can hoop, with all due respect.
So I said, let me see what he can do. That boy, he can.
By the way, guys, 2026, considering more than half at this point of the top MVP candidates, or I'd say half. Now that there's a balance as far as the top players in the NBA when it comes to skin color, I think it's time to stop saying like he's bad for a white boy. You know, I have no horse in this race. You know, I'm brown, but I think it's dumb. To tell you the truth, like, come on, man. Like, it's not just white or it's not just all black when it comes to the NBA. It's a hell of a mix these days. People coming from all over the world. I don't think we should be saying he's a pretty bad boy for a white guy or whatever. You know, like I think that's kind of effed up.
Play, man. He turned it out.
Larry Bird, I don't care what his skin color is. The dude could hoop.
We played on a team in college in a tournament together. This is the first time I ever sat on the bench. Him and I were on the bench. And we was like, the guys in front of us wasn't better than us, but Kentucky head coach was coaching the team, so he started 3 guys from Kentucky. So
oh, yeah.
But when we got in the game, we turned it out. But I saw this dude eat Jack Givens up. He was player of the year that year.
Kentucky, right?
Yes, from Kentucky. And Larry Bird was just slicing and dicing him. And I said, oh, I called home. I said, it's true about this boy. I was calling everybody. This dude can play.
And it's time to move on. I can remember the first time I laid eyes on Magic Johnson. We played on an all-star team back in college. I could not believe what I was seeing in practice. I actually thought I was a bad judge of talent because neither one of us got to play in the games. But I can remember going home and telling my older brother, I just seen the best basketball player I'm probably ever going to see in my life. And he started quizzing me, asking me questions. Well, how good is he? I said, well, he's 6'9", he can handle the ball like a 5'9" guard, he can shoot the ball, he can pass like you can't believe. He goes, oh, come on. Well, after this 1979, the NCAA tournament, my brother come up to me, he says, yeah, he's a lot better than you. So that made me work harder, knowing that me and Magic was going to be linked.
That's what it is. The rivalry starts with respect. It's a mutual respect. They're both looking at each other and going like, dude, this guy's crazy good. And then the rivalry starts because it's like, oh, in order for me to win, I have to go through him year after year after year. So I love stories like this.
79 through our pro careers.
Sorry, let me back it up.
Knowing that me and Magic was going to be linked from 79 through our pro careers, and I have to admit, I worked tirelessly every day practicing for one reason: try to beat them damn Lakers.
Yes, sir.
Magic, you love Larry Bird, and here's the thing: you played him four titles. You won 3. Bird won 1.
Yeah.
But your relationship is such that they're even doing a Broadway play about you and Bird together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So do you like it? You obviously like him. We don't like him. No. Does anybody here like Larry Bird, really? No. No. So why? Why? Why?
Chime in. LA fans, at least do you respect Larry Bird? I know the rivalry's deep. And the same goes the other side. Boston fans, do you at least respect Magic Johnson?
Well, Bill,
Let
I
me know
like
in the
him
comments.
now. You know, coming up in college when we met for the 1979 NCAA championship, you know, I had a real dislike for Larry. We were able to beat Indiana State, and then, of course, coming into the NBA, playing him 3 times, and then him winning one, our Lakers winning 2 of them. And I just hate anybody in green. It was with Larry, it was with Kevin McHale, because you had to hate the Celtics to beat them.
Yeah.
But now Larry and I are friends. We're about to do this play, or they're about to do this play about Larry and I should say.
How crazy is that? Could you imagine something you did in your life, the job that you did in your life, and they make a play about it, and you get to go watch that play of them depicting what you did in your job? Like, it's wild.
Mr. Magic Johnson, your friend, versus Mr. Larry Bird, simply the best player rivalry of all time?
I think so. I mean, when you take a look at both of these franchises, when Larry got obviously drafted by Boston, rejuvenized that Celtic, and those 2 guys were just totally different players, and they just had a different style, which I thought was the thing that was the most compelling, is that everybody wanted to see us play them because they were the hard-nosed, tough, East Coast type team that used the pass to kind of run their fast break, and we were the Showtime, tuxedo wearing. So I thought it was interesting that you had Magic against Bird, you know, because really they never really guarded each other, you know, much, but just the fact that they were on the court was a rivalry because they wanted to beat each other so bad.
I mean, the rivalry is so legendary that basically any movie about sports that would come out would kind of piggyback off of this, because the contrast was so drastic between the 2 teams, just like Byron was talking about there, between the flashy Lakers, you know, California team. One could say, like, you know, you're more flashy and show off, to just the absolute, just complete opposite of that with the Boston Celtics. Nothing flashy, nothing showy, just some regular hardworking dudes. Appearance wise, like, this is what we're getting as fans. And I remember seeing I mean, any movie you see about like a sports rivalry has to be a complete night and day contrast. You know, we are completely different types of people going against each other on the biggest stage. Hell, I even see it in like boxing, like Rocky movies and stuff. You know, you go to Rocky 4, you can't get a much any more of a contrast of 2 individuals going against each other, between the Russian and Rocky Balboa. Like, it doesn't get any better, especially in the beginning of that movie when it's Apollo Creed going against the Russian, and you all know what happens there. But anyways, like, I think this rivalry here has basically changed how media is on what we want to see from a rivalry. We don't want to just see two good teams going at it. We want to see 2 opposites going at it and see who rises to the top. We got spoiled because of this.
When Michael Jordan
it happened naturally.
entered the NBA in 1984, it was the league of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. While it seems hard to imagine today, back then Michael was often cast in the role of the outsider.
Which I don't think is fair to either one of us, but it's fun. I love being around them.
Again, Max, individually separate them. One-on-one, I got you. But as a team, parts that...
Dude, since the beginning of Stephen A. Smith, like him rising up, I've always been annoyed with the way he yells. He doesn't speak. He always shouts. It drives me crazy.
well. Perfectly together. You look at Boston, nobody looked at the Lakers and went like this, oh, they definitively better than Boston. And by the way, Magic Johnson won back-to-back. Bird never did that. Let's remember that too. It was never back-to-back. He got 3. If you think about the history of MVP candidates and stuff like that, because they both won 3 MVPs, usually it don't go to the dude that records assist. It's usually for the dude that puts the ball in the bucket. Magic was an assist guy, and the expectations were different for him than Bird, and they still gave him 3 league MVPs. Ain't nothing to discuss here.
Plenty to discuss, and in fact, Bird probably wins the argument. No, in their prime, Bird wins the argument. Over their careers, Magic probably edges them out.
I agree with Max there. I do. Yeah.
Talk about like the scorer getting it over the assist guy. That's for the most part true, but Bird was also a guy who made the entire group function better. As I said, from 29 wins to 61 wins in one season. Bird was a brilliant passer. Bird was a great rebounder. Bird was a better defender than Magic Johnson. Like, people forget now because Magic outlasted him and won MVPs when Bird was slowing down. But at their best, Bird consistently was considered the better player.
I mean, the biggest crime about the whole thing is the fact that, yeah, we didn't get enough years of it. One, because Bird and his back, and that he did to himself. It's really unfortunate. So he started slowing down. And what was that, around like 87 or 88 that he started slowing down because of that back? So we didn't get enough prime years out of him. And then Magic contracting HIV in 91, that just put a dagger in the whole thing. So that's the only unfortunate thing is, like, because it started out Larry Bird was on top, then Magic went on a hell of a run. And then by that time, Larry Bird was already busted up. So we never got to see, can Larry Bird rebuild again and come back and rise on top? By that point, it was all MJ, and Bird was retired. And I guess we'll never get to see. So that's what it's the hardest thing in the world for me to place these two guys on a top 10 all-time list because of this. And honestly, I always have them right next to each other, and I just have Magic above Larry by one spot because I just feel like that's the most fair thing to do because Magic ended up winning 5 rings, and that's it.
For me, it's the fact of what you guys just brought up. Who wants to play with other people on the team? And when I think of Magic Johnson, if I'm starting my team with the point guard that sat in the captain's chair and played center in every position in the game in the championship, there's no way I'm going against Magic. I have help defenders that can probably help. You look at all these guys are great, but you look at the first few years of all these guys, they all had great Hall of Famers, and maybe Mike didn't have that in the beginning, but to me, the one thing is Magic, being the leader that he is. One thing that is, maybe it is up for question, but Magic to me in the history of the game is one of the best leaders from what you've seen in his getting people energized, getting the crowd energized, the style of play. You ever notice when they scored how fast Magic Johnson got the ball up to half court? Those are Showtime things, but you're setting up the play with 20 seconds on the clock, and just him getting everybody involved, knowing what buttons to push. And I don't know if anybody had his intangibles.
For me, it would have to be Magic Johnson, because if you look at the traditional point guard, they've always been not small, but smaller. Magic was the first oversized guy that excelled at being a point guard.
I don't know if he's just the first. He might be the only one that actually excelled at being a real point guard, a pass-first facilitator who's 6'9". Like, I've never seen anybody else do it. And if anybody of you guys are thinking LeBron, guys, he's not a pass-first guy. He's not a good facilitator, and he gets turnovers like crazy. So I don't believe that. But can you guys think of anybody else who's this size? Scottie Pippen's like the closest thing I can think of, but really his job was to dribble the ball up the court, entry pass, initiate the offense. Very different than Magic. I'm thinking like a, Magic Johnson, Steve Nash type of player, John Stockton, who was able to do this, but I can't think of anybody else who's that tall. Can you guys?
Actually gave Chris and myself the confidence to be able to get the ball, take it off the glass, and go all the way. Never really had a chance to play against Larry Bird, but I actually used to hate Larry Bird. Hated him. Because,
why?
Because I hated him. I was sort of like, jealous of him because he was a regular guy that did everything. He shot it in your face. He had to fade away. One time,
I was watching the game, they was playing somebody, and I was betting this guy, and he was falling out of bounds, and he shot that thing over the backboard and it went in. I was like, and I thought most of what he did was luck. No. But as I, got older and kept watching, I just knew that it was skill. And, for him to even have his name mentioned in this category with Magic and Michael Jordan just shows how great of a player he was.
I mean, it's like jazz, man. It's like jazz for music. There is no way you're going to be improvising like Larry Bird did on a basketball court unless you practice your ass off. How do you make that shot from behind the basket? That means you're practicing that crap. And the second he took that step at the edge of the baseline, he was like, oh, I know what to do. And he just pops it. Like, that takes just immense practice to be able to flow like that.
It was that jumped out at you that has him held in such high regard throughout the NBA?
Well, I think, Ernie, like we all know, it's a tough decision with those three. Unbelievable players. But just to talk about Larry, for me to see the guy can shoot the basketball, but then also be able to change his game up, but to do whatever he had to do to win. Kind of like Magic, kind of like Michael, but, I was impressed for a guy with his athletic ability, which was not a lot. Yeah. To be able to rebound the basketball, to really take the fundamentals of the game and take it to another level. I mean, everything fundamentally, if you watch Larry Bird, he did at a top level. Yep. I mean, but if I had to pick, because I started my team always with a center and a point guard, because now I can plug any 2, 3, 4, 5 with a Magic Johnson, and we'll have a chance to win.
I remember the game he played.
I mean, straight up, both of these guys, you look at their rosters throughout the years that they were active, and I always wonder, how good would these guys have been without Larry Bird or without Magic Johnson on their team? It's hard to say, because when the Phoenix Suns were led by Steve Nash over here, everybody was eating. And people talk about Quentin Richardson at that point. You know what I mean? Grant Hill making a revival. Amari Stoudemire, one of the greatest players in the NBA during that period. Sean Marion talked about all over the place. Joe Johnson was the guy. All these guys were huge stars while Nash was there feeding him. But then when he left, or they left, more like, not the same kind of reputation. So it makes me wonder, what would a Kevin McHale or a Dennis Johnson or James Worthy, I'm pretty sure would have been fine. But like a Byron Scott, stuff like that. Like, who would these guys have been? Kurt Rambis, if not for their leaders. And the same question I ask about the Bulls too, because without Jordan on that team, I don't think they would have been household names.
Against the Lakers, the first year that the Celtics won the World Championship with him on the team, he was ridiculous. He killed him. I remember our sportscaster played the Superman theme when he was talking about him that night after the game, because he did everything, right. Points, rebounds, assists, just steals, you name it. Larry has such a great mind for the game, a great touch. I had a lot of respect for him as a competitor.
Awesome.
Magic's just a great basketball player. He's the best I've ever seen, Unbelievable. I don't know what to say.
LB, you and I, brother, we came in together from college. It was a joy, man, to be alongside of you. I know your back was hurting. You didn't want to play. I called your butt up and I said, you gonna play. Yep. We needed this 3-0 one more time. And I remember Michael Jordan sitting there telling us, remember this? We were sitting there and he took a puff of his cigar and he said, Larry and Magic, you had your run, but there's a new sheriff in town.
Jordan, yeah. Yep. Jordan not denying that one bit.
It was on practicing and we were waiting in the tunnel. We got there early. I wanted to definitely say hello to Larry, When they came through, it was like nobody would say nothing. I wanted to go toward him, like his guys, made sure that he didn't say nothing. And then they kind of started snickering, like, Michigan State, you in trouble. We're gonna kill you guys tomorrow.
I probably did snub him. I don't remember it, but I'm sure I did. I didn't, like I call it love fest, hugging and slapping high fives with opponent. You're there for a reason. You're there to win a game.
That just said it's on now.
And I agree with that mindset. People consider that too tough these days, but dude, if I got to go against you on the biggest stage, win or go home, I can't be friendly with you right now. Like, maybe afterwards, but I can't be how can I be friendly with you right now? I'm building up my armor at this point. So how am I supposed to like relinquish all my armor and just be chummy with somebody I'm supposed to go 100% against?
Against Michigan State. I'm Brian Gumbel, and the fans here are going
Brian Gumbel.
I mean, let's face it, if Larry Bird were black and came from Chicago, it wouldn't have been as big a deal. They were polar opposites.
Yeah, it was yin-yang. It was total yin-yang.
One black, one white, one outgoing, one shy. That was the charm of the attraction.
The Bird against Magic. All of the superlatives have been used, and believe me, all of them have been warranted.
When the NBA and CBS signed a new TV deal before the 82-83 season, the rescue plan was simple. Sell more Bird and Magic.
Yeah.
And sell them not just as ball players, but as arch-rival characters in their own dramatic saga.
You got this slick Showtime African-American guy out west, and you got the lunch bucket, floppy-haired white guy with the bruises all over his body. It's central casting. It's perfect.
I mean, this was like made in heaven. In 1979, this idea of Magic and Bird was created. And so that was sort of a no-brainer. We'd have a doubleheader. It would be the Celtics playing first.
It's so funny because you got Magic here who was like, it was destined. His whole, the road to the NBA was like destiny. It was always going to happen. Then you got Then you got Bird over here who was like, he was doing odd jobs in French Lick before, he ended up playing in college. He was doing odd jobs like garbage, landscaping, stuff like this. Like, he could have just been a regular dude in society and nobody would have thunk any different of it. Yet he ended up being one of the greatest basketball players of all time and Magic's rival. It's too perfect. Even their journey to the NBA is polar opposite from each other.
Sort of a no-brainer. We'd have a doubleheader. It would be the Celtics playing first and the Lakers playing second, and that's the way we did it.
And when the Celtics and Lakers both reached the finals just a year into the new TV deal in 1984, it appeared the superstar investment was about to pay off.
It was huge. It was probably the biggest moment the NBA had up to that point. You had Boston and LA, East against West. It had all the elements of a classic showdown.
Including what was becoming the most inescapable element of all.
Did we know that the blacks and whites were lining up, the whites with the Celtics, the blacks with... Of course we knew that.
I think we pushed each other to greatness. And every day I watch your box score and I said, man, he had a high triple-double. I always wanted to just be just where you were. So thank you for pushing me, and I hope I did the same for you.
I mean, I think they had a very, very huge responsibility, whether they realized it or not, because the way everything was set up, black people hated Bird, white people hated Magic, straight down the line, man. And the only way to bridge this gap and have people to come together in this situation would be for black people to start to see Bird and respect the hell out of him and go like, damn, man, I hate him, but this guy's freaking tough. And then the same thing to happen for white people to see Magic and be like, I hate this guy, but this guy can hoop, like he's earning my respect. And they both did it. That's the hard part. Not one of them did it. They both did it. And I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say in 2026, it don't matter what skin color you are, like you respect both Bird and Magic. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think that's an easy statement to make now. And if I could say that so openly in public on a video like this, damn, man, they both did their job to a T.
Spent the last couple of days with Magic Johnson. Every time I see him, I tell him thank you, because Magic Johnson and Larry Bird are the two most important figures in NBA history.
I agree.
People look at this thing now where guys are making $30, $40, $50 million. When I came in, David Stern's first year, the average salary was $200,000. Magic and Bird, those guys changed the entire trajectory of the NBA and made it what it is today, because we couldn't believe an NBA player made $1 million. Two black, bunch of druggies, a bunch of thugs. The finals were tape delayed.
It's crazy.
Yeah. There was only one game a week. And it's all because of Magic and Bird, who changed the whole dynamic of the league. So every time I see those guys, I want them to know, man, thank you. And that's y'all.
That's a good point too. Yeah. Because of them, because of this whole like yin yang factor, you couldn't say it was a black league or a white league anymore because the two people on top were one representing each. I didn't really think about it that way until now. I love Chuck.
The anthem is sung and get introduced, and right before they go out on the court, Larry comes down. He said, "You know what? Don't worry. I'm going to put a show on for you." And he went out. I think he scored 38 points, about 20 rebounds, about 15 assists. And every shot he would shoot, he would turn to me. And I said,
just like MJ did at 92 to him when he was the commentator for the game. Hit a shot, look at Magic. That's respect, man. That's some respect.
And you would sit there. You know, the thing about it that I love about you is that, see, most guys talk trash and talk stuff and can't back it up. But Mr. Bird, you know you can back your trash talking up. And the last two things before I go, because this is your night, and I'm trying to just tell everybody how I feel about you, because I respect you and admire you and love you so much. I wanted to be friends, but Larry didn't want none of that.
Look at Larry, dude. Oh, man. Dude, Bird is the perfect last name for him. Like, my mom pointed this out when I was a child because of, like, the Tweety Bird thing. The Tweety Bird look. I'm sorry, I'm going there, you guys. Blame my mom. My mom started this when I was a kid. She put this in my head. But, like, his head and his hair and everything, even, like, the dynamics of his face, looks like Tweety Bird. And I've never been able to get that out of my head. And if you disagree with me, just watch him chuckle right here.
None of that. You know, and so.
Oh, man.
And so I said, okay, if that's how it's going to be, then we have to be like that. So I started disliking him too. But, you know, he told me that, you know, I smiled all the time, and he knew that I will smile at you, but I want to cut your heart out at the same time. So
that's a psycho.
He knew that was part of my strategy, is to get him, lure him in as my friend.
So he didn't want to demonstrate any weakness by becoming your friend. Now, did you?
That's true. That's smart on Bird, because that is the idea. Yep. Put your armor down because you see the happy smile, and then I'm going to kill you.
What his advances to being a friend, and you just rejected them? You were not interested? You didn't like him? I mean, what was your side of that?
It's not like one more girlfriend. You know? When you say advances, I get a little scared. You know, my thing was when you compete, you're really not friends. You want to keep an edge.
Yeah.
And I was like that through high school and through college. But Irvin is an outgoing guy. He loves everybody. He wants to high five and. You know, he got that big smile. My goal was to try to take 3 of them teeth home with me.
Let's forget everything else.
I couldn't hear. I was too busy laughing. What did he say at the end?
My goal was to try to take 3 of them teeth home with me.
Let's forget everything else. Forget the statistics, forget the friendship, how it evolved, the teams. Do you now, in your heart, believe you're the better player?
I remember this. Look at Magic's just eating it up. He's like, yep, glad I don't have to answer that.
Actually, I've always said that I go by success, and he's won more championships, so I give him the nod.
There it is. I play by the same rules.
He's very gentlemanly. Now, Magic, same question to you. Is Larry the better player?
I've always said that Larry was the better player.
Really?
Because he could do more, shoot from the outside, all those type of things.
That's the funny thing. Neither of them are lying. They both said, even in their careers, the other one was better.
You know, to us, really, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
because they say, I hated the Lakers, but why do we love Magic?
Yeah.
You know, both of us are changing to those players that we used to be because we still want to beat each other. He was the better forward, and I was the better guard.
That's the best way.
That's the perfect way.
That's it right there, man. That is the perfect way to answer that question. He's the better forward. I'm the better guard. That was the most most peaceful way to say it. And I like I said, I love this whole thing because they kept the same energy when they were in their primes and battling against each other. When they weren't friends, but they didn't like each other. Yet they respected each other, feared each other maybe, but they did not like each other during that time. And they were still saying it. They were still astonished by what the other player was able to do and always giving each other their flowers. It's one of my favorite stories. Probably my favorite sports story in general is these two. And I don't know, call me tacky or call me cheesy, but I just want to have a moment and just be so thankful these two guys are still around. They're still around. They're both healthy. You know, like we still get to see Magic on TV. Got to see Larry Bird sit down and well, who's he chilling with? He was chilling with like Reggie Miller and somebody else for the All-Star game in Indiana. That was a year or two ago. You know, just the fact that these guys are still healthy, kicking it, and their friendship is still solid, man, it's like a fairy tale ending. You know what I mean? Like, once again, it's like Rocky again, because you think about the rivalry, and then Rocky and Apollo Creed end up being best buddies. The only difference is the Russian comes in and kills Apollo Creed, so I guess it's not the same. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna head out. I really enjoyed this one. I've had a huge smile on my face this entire time. I really love talking about these two players. Hopefully you guys do too. I'll see you all in the comments. Let's have a good old conversation like we always do. And I appreciate you hanging out with me, guys. Like the video if you could on the way out. It helps me a lot. Subscribe if you want more content like this. Hit that bell if you want to get notified for the next one. And most importantly, is to be water, my friends.